Good afternoon. It's Friday, February 9th. Welcome to CNL2's News at Noon in 48th Parallel. That's our new open this week. Actually, it's not quite done. That's like a working copy. I probably am not supposed to be showing that. Sorry, Jeff Pickett. Had to use it. It's really cool. We're really excited about that. And today, our guest is the amazing Jimmy Moe, who is both president of Monroe Custom Buildings here in San Juan Island, but also is quite the musician. So we are lucky Jimmy brought guitar and harmonica, I think, right?
Yes, I did.
And we're not going to let you get out of here before you play. So you have
I'm trapped.
play for pay. We're
Okay.
not paying Jimmy, sorry. But anyway, and also Matthew Rice, who is there.
Hello, there we
Hi.
go.
There you go. You got to hit your button. And our big rolling conversation of the week is that Matthew, at age 23, had his first tooth filling of his entire life.
Yep.
At 23, isn't that great?
That is great.
I had like 3 by the time I was 8. So.
Wow, Matthew.
And so we had to talk him through it. He was very scared.
I was slightly terrified.
Monday afternoon.
For no reason. Nothing even hurt.
So anyway, that's been the thing of the week with Matthew. And no emotional scars or anything. It looks like everything's going to be okay.
Yep, everything's going to be all right.
Okay. So we are welcoming today phone calls if you wish to call in. 360-745-CNL2. That's 360-745-2652. There it is on the monitor. And Jimmy really likes phone calls. He really likes to take. You make them and you make them and you take them.
I don't mind them at all.
You call into. I think you called into a station in Bellingham and mentioned CNL2.
I did a couple weeks ago.
I'm sure they really appreciated that.
I thought about that later. I thought I owe Joe T an apology.
Oh.
I actually was being a little bit thoughtless, and I could think now he may have been cringing when I'm giving out the call sign and talking about the dates and.
Why Joe?
He's the host. Of the hour between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock.
I didn't know that.
KGMI, yeah.
Really? From here?
No, Joe, he is in Bellingham, and he helps with the station there.
Okay.
He's a regular there. Does the news. He does sports now, too. They lost their sportsman.
Well, you guys are close. They know you, right?
He calls me friend, but, the people on that radio.
They know. They know that phone number. They know what's coming.
Yeah, all right then. Well, I'd like to think I'm more than just another caller, but
anyway, you bombed them with a reference to.
No,
I don't think they need to worry. There's nothing to.
Probably not, but it still was not the best form, I think.
Well, I loved it.
Okay.
Stern followers have a thing they do called Baba Booey. They've been doing this for decades. And they go to they call into shows, and if you say Baba Booey, that's a plug for Stern.
Okay.
And they love to cross the line as much as they can. They if you watch a PGA golf tournament, you might see people in the background yelling Baba Booey.
All right.
And it's like an inside joke, but it's understood by tens of millions of people.
It's like the mega dittos that Limbaugh used to do. Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Got it. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. So you did a Baba Booey.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're like, okay, that was strike one. You've been calling in for years, but that was Jimmy Moe's strike one. So
well, they might lose some listeners at certain hours on that station. We'll see.
We'll see. The competition is healthy.
It is.
It's a good thing.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then Matthew is here, and we are going to talk about Jimmy's business a little bit, and then we're going to play some music. But I thought on the subject of music here, I thought that we would start with a recording we made yesterday, and it's another song played by our wonderful friend Terry Lush, who I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or supposed to say this, but Terry was our second paid subscriber. That means a lot to me. Thank you, Terry, and your whole family. Appreciate that a lot. But Terry is one of these larger-than-life personalities, just always up, just a great person.
Yes.
Sailor, do you know
Yes.
Terry?
Oh, yeah, I know. I've
Okay.
played music with him a few times.
Yeah, and
Oh,
very
yeah.
talented.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Yes, he is.
So Jeremy has one of Terry's songs from yesterday up. We put one of these up last night on Facebook, and last time we checked, I think there were 600 views in
Oh, my.
overnight. Overnight.
Whoa, wow.
You know, which is good because through the night. So I don't know where it's going to wind up today. What was the last count on that, Jeremy?
I'm not sure.
So anyway, let's go ahead and watch the one of Terry's songs, and this is a nice way to start our show. Wasn't that great? We love Terry. He's just awesome.
Yeah.
And he was
Very
really
cool.
into it. He did five songs, and he would have done even more. I said, let's save it. But he's going to be back.
Right.
That was our kind of Bavarian theme yesterday. And his next session here will be Irish. And he wants to, and then we'll use that for St. Patty's Day.
Of
Which
course.
is
There we go.
5 weeks away or so. But he's got a huge list of songs and genres that he covers. So it's going to be fun. And I'd like to put him together with something, drums or tuba or something. We're working on that too. Before we get into our conversation with Jimmy, this survey, Jeremy, you have the sample of it. This survey is still going for community water taxi. I checked it out. It's 28 questions, but depending on how you answer some of those questions, it may not even take all 28. This is a group that's working very, very hard to establish alternate public-private service. Well, right now it's completely private. They'd like a little help. Service between the islands, inter-island service, especially at the times when Washington State Ferries fails to provide inter-island service, either from old boats that should have been retired years ago or from crewing problems, which also should have been fixed years ago. So if you take the time, it won't take very long. If you take the time to fill out the survey, there's a QR code. You hit that QR code, it takes you straight to their site. And if you fill this out, they collect important data that the state of Washington wants to see. And I think, connecting the dots here, you're actually helping possibly secure funding so that we can stand up, they can stand up a kind of a long-term service with a public-private partnership using some of the tax money that should be going here to provide the services. Instead, will now go to private, but it'll keep things going. And this is an amazing group of people, mostly out of Orcas and Crane Islands. And they've taken people that would have missed their chemo across the water and gotten them to their chemotherapy appointment here on the island.
Wonderful.
They have many times brought people to their job here between the islands that would possibly have caused them to lose their job or be hurt in their career, and every other thing you can imagine. I was there one day when a guy was bringing trash, trash from his home or boat or wherever he was, and he was relying on Inter-Island to be able to move it. I guess it would have been in his car, and he would have moved it here, got it into the waste system somehow, and they moved him with all of his stuff, all of his trash.
Wow.
And then he put it on a cart and wheeled it up, and I don't know what happened to it, but when the Washington State Ferries fails to provide inter-island service, sometimes for half a day, there's a domino effect through people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is the group who took it on themselves last August to get started. I don't know if it's 100 or 200. I know it's at least 100 trips now that they've done for people. And so anyway, if you were to take a few minutes and do this survey, in some cosmic sense, you are helping, or you're improving the odds that we're going to wind up with the kind of a little bit of state assistance. And I know there's a lot of people who reflexively are concerned about, when they hear tax dollars, where are those going? In this case, it would be a small amount of tax dollars going to do what the ferry system is failing to do. And by the way, that failure is projected to last at least, at best, the next 4 years. Those of us who are realistic about what government can do, we know that could be way more than 4 years, 5 years, maybe 6 years.
Right.
So we need to, this is not like these guys will keep doing this inter-island substitute service for a few more months. We need to build something.
I don't know anything about the vessel. What type of vessel is it?
Yeah.
Well, right now they're just using, he calls it a six-pack. It's just a little boat that will hold up to 6 people.
Okay.
Oh.
They would like to obviously secure a little bit bigger boat so they could move more people. Remains to be seen if the state's going to help with that or not.
Okay.
If the state doesn't help with that, then the economics of this are really difficult.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it's really just it's almost a moral thing. It's like, this is the state's job. This is the Marine Highway, and the Marine Highway system is failing, clearly.
Clearly.
So this is a stopgap, and we're very, very lucky that anyone, any captain, any boat owner is willing to do this at all. And yet, they are. So here's 5 people. It's a group of 5 people who are sometimes subbing out to available captains or owners of small boats. We're lucky that they're willing to do it. They have been doing it. But it's time for the state to step up and provide a little bit of support.
Do you know the status on building new ferries, new diesel ferries? Has that just absolutely been put on hold because of possible ferries
That's
being
a
electric?
really, really good question. And today, I am not aware of anything being done. I'm not aware of any shopping. I'm not aware of any request for bid that's being prepared to test whether we could have have 1, 2, 3, or 4 diesel boats sooner. That would be my vote. I would say work up the RFP, put it out there, get a timeline. And if as some people say, skeptics of that say, we wouldn't get it any sooner than 4, 5, or 6 years from now. I don't believe that. That doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
But if that were true, then it'd say, okay, all right, Jeff, we tried. But they're not trying. Nobody has put
Okay.
that RFP together. No one has put it out there. Supposedly the state talks to like the Vigor and the shipyards and all that, but that's not the same thing. You've got to, you're in the business.
Yeah.
Nothing happens until there's a bid request, and then
Exactly.
and then a bid, and then and a bid includes a timeline. It's like somebody said, well, could I build this building? And you would say, yeah. And then I'd say, how much? And you'd say, I don't know, because you haven't given me a bid request with parameters.
Mm-hmm.
And then when can I have it? Say, again, I don't know, because there's no RFP. We didn't just talk about, that. And that's kind of where the diesel boat thing is. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I've talked to politicians. I assure you we wouldn't get one sooner. We wouldn't get a diesel sooner than we would get one of these electric boats that we've, as a state, never built before.
Yes.
And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I know the electric buses in other states aren't working out very well. As a matter of fact, most of them are parked, is what I hear.
Really?
Yeah, and
Huh.
a ferry that is electric, batteries are heavy,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be able to carry as many cars because the weight displacement for the whole design has to be taken into account. So there are gonna be less cars on them per other ferries that would be diesel. So
Well, in my mind, and everybody's different, but the way I see it, you could put this all on 2 tracks. You could put the future, they are kind of futuristic or leading or whatever word you want to use, but sometimes I sarcastically call them dream boats, because first of all, they're a dream right now, and second, they're many people's dream philosophically. I guess that's a little too sarcastic, but you could put that whole thing on a track and say, this is an aspiration, this is good.
Yes.
I will tell anybody, what was that sound? I can completely say that I do believe in climate change. I do think that we have to make changes about the future. I believe in all that. I don't
Right.
think it's a hoax. But it seems like we have just completely, as a state now, focused on the future and completely ignored the present. We could have, in my view, asked, ordered 2, 3, 4 more diesel boats as just out of practicality. And we could have absolutely, in the time that the order was canceled, there was a 5th boat that was going to be built, diesel boat. That was canceled in, I want to say January 16th of 2018. That's a long time ago. That's 6 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
6 years ago by executive order. And I guess we could have had all 4 diesel boats built. But anyway, those other 3 weren't ordered yet. There was a 5th boat, though, that was actually canceled. We could have had, Suquamish was the last one delivered in 18, coincidentally. And we could have had another diesel boat. And, at this point we're at now, down to a fleet of 15. Any one boat would have helped.
right.
Any one brand new boat would have helped offset, for instance, the effects of having a 65-year-old boat, which we have.
Well, it's funny if you're talking pollution, large boats polluting, the large cargo ships,
Yeah.
they use the dirtiest of fuel, and they're the most polluters. I mean, and I was listening to a interview with the guy who is the head of Maersk, which is the largest shipping company in the world, and he was talking propane. I mean, he wasn't talking electric, because electric is just, according to him, is just a panacea. And he was saying propane might be the way to go. But those
Is that
ships,
different from liquid natural gas? Is that the same thing?
it's similar.
Yeah, I think that's called LNG, and
Right.
it's pretty controversial. It can be dangerous. There's a lot of debate about whether it's an appropriate fuel for ferries. I don't know how well that argument was vetted. It seemed to be dismissed pretty quickly. I don't know. I don't have an
I don't
opinion
know
about
either.
that.
I do
and
know-
you know what? But I think that that's a good debate or good discussion
Sure.
to have.
Let's
In the
talk about it.
meantime,
Let's talk about
it's
it.
the meantime, it's like if you have a car that, you know, is totally unreliable and you still need to get around now. So I don't understand why we couldn't have had a few more diesel boats while we're figuring all this other stuff out. And
Completely
anyway,
practical to think that way.
Yeah.
anyway, here we are. But
Yeah.
that's, I don't know. I didn't expect, I didn't expect to have this conversation, but I think
Sorry.
anybody, no, that's okay. It's good.
Here we
It's
are.
good to have. Anybody who's watched any of this for any amount of time knows that I feel the duality, two things can be true at the same time. I think it is good for us to aspire to innovative solutions. It's good for us to recognize that the climate is changing, and there might be things that we can do about that. It's also good to take care of current needs and not throw everybody into an emergency where people are, in some cases, you know, we've all heard of older residents here who feel like they've had to leave the island
Right.
because they can't reliably get to a hospital. They don't want to be put in that situation.
Well, they were depending on a ferry system that was 40 years ago, and you being able to count on the ferry system. It was very good. And then slowly, little by little,
Yep.
it's gotten to the point we are now, and it's probably going to get a little worse, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that it won't get worse in the next 4 years.
Right.
And that's assuming that they can start delivering these boats again, which have never been built exactly for this state.
Never been done.
It's been done in other places.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Where?
there
Do you
there
know
are
where?
no, there are electric ferries. There's some in Europe. I believe BC Ferries just put in an order for some. In many cases, though, they don't have the Jones Act, so in many cases, these other operators can buy ferries from. I believe BC Ferries has purchased some boats from Poland, and until last year, we couldn't even buy them from anywhere but the state of Washington. And now we still can't buy them for anywhere but America. So that's a limiting thing, but I don't know the state of electric ferries in the United States. I think there's some. I don't know. I hope we're not first. I don't want to be first. But I had a really smart client with my ad agency once. He was very, very successful and very wealthy. And he told me, he loved to be second. He hated to be first. He never wanted to be first. He let somebody
Yes.
else pay the cost of all that.
right.
Being
And
the
he's-
guinea pig.
He'd sit back and
Dangerous.
watch it, and then he executed it, you know, beautifully based on other people's mistakes. I thought that was pretty wise. Never forgot that. So anyway, that's a long way to talk about the importance of the community water taxi coming out of Orcas Island and Crane Island. Thanks again, Tom Bridge, and your crew, your team, doing great work. Ed Andrews, Justin Paulson. I'm getting better. There's 5, and then now I can remember 3. I'm sorry to the other 2. Very sorry. I'll work on it. That's my homework assignment, to be able to name all 5 of you. I consider you heroes, and I really appreciate what you're doing. And I hope the state of Washington doesn't let us down. The community water taxi support, or the support for anyone who can meet the bid parameters. Some funding for that is still, as I understand it, in the current appropriations bill, Jimmy. But you know how laws are made. I'm personally, I'm worried that gets horse traded away in the final stretch.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the politicians are still working on that appropriations bill, which is kind of the main reason why they meet on the off year. It's still, we're still in there. We meaning someone running that service, whether it's Tom's group or someone else. We're still in the running, but it's every time in every legislature, federal and state, and even county. It's always possible that you can follow something right up to like the day before, and then they have to get the votes, and do all the squeezing and twisting, and then finally your thing just disappears. So,
We might have a new governor by then, too.
well, we have a leading contender for the Republican nomination. We will have a new governor, no matter what,
Right.
whether it's a Democrat or Republican. But we have the leading contender, I think it's safe to say, Dave Reichert is the leading contender.
I would think so.
I believe so. I haven't
Yeah.
really seen any polls. Visiting the island. I think I can say that. That's publicly known. Tomorrow.
Whoa, how did I not know that?
You didn't know that. Yeah. Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
now you do. Courtesy
Okay.
CNL2.
Wow, I've got to pay attention to this
Yeah.
station.
You do. You do. You're acting right. You know this. Good job. We're hoping that candidate Reichert will be here for an interview here in CNL2. We'll tape it tomorrow if he shows up. I think he will. And we'll play that for you Monday. We will be asking about the ferries, as you can imagine.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
We'll see. We'll see what he has to say. I've also been told that he'll address Washington State Ferries in his remarks, whatever public remarks he makes tomorrow.
I imagine he's a very busy man.
Probably.
We're lucky. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, we're lucky to have a leading Republican show up here at all, being as small as we are as an electoral bloc. And I think it's very important to hear what both parties have to say about going forward with Washington State Ferries. I hope the Democrat candidate, who, we think we probably know who that's going to be, I hope that he visits here, this island, and I would expect that he would explain his views on how to dig ourselves out of this mess as well. And then ideally we can compare.
Do you think it would be bad radio protocol if I were to mention on KGMI this afternoon that Dave Reichert's going to be here tomorrow? Would I be pushing it? I don't want to hurt people.
I don't know. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh,
I think the movements of the, if you want to check, I would check with the local Republican Party, who's hosting the candidate, how much they, want to put out. Here I am on the internet, live talking about it. But we're excited about that. We look forward to that. I don't think this appearance is secret. If it is, sorry, it's not secret anymore.
right.
But, that doesn't make sense. Most politicians are not interested in secret meetings.
No.
They shouldn't be.
Right.
I would hope not.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a free country.
I'd like to know which ones are so I can know that.
Yeah, you would want to know that. Anyway, it's kind of a big weekend for both Republicans and Democrats. There's also a Democrat event. I believe it's on mostly on election security, the election security subject. So it's a very political weekend here in San Juan County. So take your pick and contact either party. Hopefully you know how to do that. I wish we had that the contact info up. We don't have that. Sorry, didn't do my homework. But contact the Democrats or the Republicans because they're both getting together this weekend, and you might learn something, and you might be able to share some things. So
Definitely.
yeah, so that's water taxi, Washington State Ferry, etc. Now. This is kind of I don't want to put too much pressure on, but it's an on-air screen test. We have here, we refer to Matthew Rice as our Ron Burgundy. He's
Ron Burgundy.
He's,
Oh, no.
he's got the news anchor voice, and he's got the
Right.
news anchor hair. And we're going to see now if he can do a news anchor read. So,
Remind me, I need to get a haircut after this.
yeah. So give it a shot.
All right. Hello, everybody. Friday Harbor's Film Festival's free Best of the Fest series will show Buffy St. Marie Carry It On, winning the 2023 International Emmy Award for the Arts Programming at San Juan Island Grange on Friday, February 16th at 7 p.m. It will be followed by a pre-recorded interview about the film with producer Kyle Irving. Details are available at fhff.org. This event is free and open to the public. No tickets or reservations are needed at all. Thank you.
Very good. Good job, Ron. We need to get you a red leisure suit and close the circle.
There we go.
Right. You know the film, right? You're the one that brought it up.
Anchorman?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. This is your fault. I wouldn't have thought of that. Like, oh,
I liked
that could be
Anchorman
a-
1, but the sequel was
The second one,
Whoa.
they took it and they really ran with it.
Little shaky.
they ran right off a cliff with it.
Little shaky.
Sometimes that's what they do.
Right.
That's not the first mediocre movie where they made a sequel that shouldn't have been made. That's sorry, mediocre for all you Ron Burgundy fans, but yeah, it was.
Yes.
Well, anyway, thank you. Good. Yeah, and film festival. We have a great film festival here. Great
Yes,
film,
we do.
film
That we
festival
do.
organization. So thank you. We are now going to just talk to our friend Jimmy, and so we got ourselves into adequate trouble there on ferries and politics and environment and everything else.
It's all stuff needs to be talked about.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. And, you know, by the way, if anyone wants to call at 360-745-CNL2, Jeremy will take your call, and you can be on the air. We haven't done that for over a week, I think 10 days since the last time we took a phone call. But we can do it, so call us at 360-745-CNL2, which is 2652, I believe. So we are, I don't want to talk about more politics. And I'm happy to talk about your business. How's business?
Okay. Business is good, except for I'm doing other things construction-wise, small jobs while I'm waiting for a permit.
How long do permits usually take to come through, or does it vary?
Depends on the permit,
Okay.
but they're apparently slow walking this one. So it's the first
What
time.
does that do to your business when they do that?
Well, it causes my plans just to evaporate. If I make a plan on starting a job at around a certain month or two, I thought I'd give myself a 2 or 3 month leeway, and it just, I had the whole year planned, and now I don't. So you just have to roll with it.
Do you have to like push subcontractors back and say, "Yeah, I
Oh,
thought,
yeah,
I
all
thought
the-
you were going to do this"?
All the
then."
subcontractors that
Yeah.
I had talked to
Then can you
about
lose
this
'em?
project. Oh yeah, I can lose them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's a bad thing. Like I say, I just wish they would communicate better. I've been in there a few times. I've had the architect talk to him a few times. I've had the customer talk to him once, because there's nothing like the actual person who pays the taxes on the property to talk to the people in charge of dispensing a permit. So I've done everything I can, and it's all quiet on the Western Front.
so what is, you said slow walking a permit? What does that mean, or what is it? I'm assuming it just means that they're taking their time with everything.
And
or-
I'm assuming
yes,
myself.
assuming.
So, but it seems to be obvious. I mean, you look at the facts and you look at things for a while over a period of time, and then you make a decision on, okay, what's really going on. And it's, I guess, they have a short week now. They got a 4-day week, so you can use that. As, the county does. In fact, I just went in to do a license. I wasn't thinking in the courthouse just a few hours ago, and they're closed on Fridays now. So, and I should have known that if I'd been paying more attention to what the county's doing.
It seems like a lot of the departments now are closing on Friday. It's
Yeah.
like essentially, big portions of the government are closed on Fridays. It seemed like in the beginning it was a little more staggered, but now I don't know. I
Right.
haven't really watched it.
I'm
that
really
close.
kind of in the dark of what's going on and why it's going on. I can only speculate.
Yeah, the term slow walking kind of goes to motive. It doesn't just mean it's going slowly. It means that there's some intention there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not part of it, but I mean, in just exploring Jimmy's phrase there, I mean, that's the question, at least on your part.
Maybe it'd be good to get an interview with somebody in the county planning department.
Well, I only hear about this about 4 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, it comes up a lot because, you know, the people that want to build, they want to build. They want to get on with it. And so I don't know. I don't know if there's any intention to it. I don't know if it's a collateral situation to the 4-day work week. I don't know if it, you know, it could even, it could be done as, they could be doing it as quickly and in good faith as possible. I don't know.
It's possible, yeah.
It could be a new set of regulations. I know for 3.5 years I worked for Sound Transit in Seattle, and I know that they wanted, believe me, Sound Transit's under so much pressure, they wanted to build everything as fast as they possibly could. But the regulatory environment in Washington and the United States and Seattle is, and King County is such that nothing gets built very fast there. For, again, permitting and environmental stuff and all that. So I don't know, but I know it comes up. And you know, another possibility is simply, and this is an interesting possibility to me. I have no idea if it's a factor, but I get the idea that there are people on this island that just, and in the county perhaps, but especially on this island, that maybe just don't want to have more buildings built, don't want to see the population change.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's likely.
if that's true, then that is kind of a guiding principle. It's like, let's not, and you know, there's always 2 sides of a story, right? Always 2 sides. My mom and dad moved to Bainbridge Island from St. Louis, Missouri in 1989. Bainbridge, for anyone who's been around here for a while, knows, you know how much Bainbridge has changed from 1989.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't even called Bainbridge. You would call it Winslow, is the little town, the little downtown. And everybody kind of referred it to Winslow. And in this time, from 89 to now, I believe it is more than doubled in size, in population. And I remember just a few years ago hearing people say, we don't want this to be the next Mercer Island, Bainbridge.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know, well, I mean, but Mercer's like right in the middle of the metropolitan area. And there's no, I mean, Mercer's completely built out.
Yeah.
Well, Bainbridge is close. And, you know, with islands, at least Bainbridge can be connected to Paulsbo and the rest of Kitsap County to like bring in water and things like that.
Right.
Although the infrastructure to distribute water isn't really there. So you look at like a Bainbridge and you say, did we cross a line? Did we develop this too much? Were we too quick to build too many houses?
I could argue either side, and arguing on the point of wanting this permit could be seen so self-serving, but I really put myself beyond that. I can think of, was it Holmgren who said when the referees beat the Seahawks at Pittsburgh, I think over a decade ago, he said, if I knew that I was also playing against the referees, I would have planned differently. You know, so I would have planned differently if I knew maybe some things that are going on that I don't know about, slowing things down. I would not have scheduled. You know, that's all I ask.
Well, and you know, the other thing too, going back to the practicality of this, is that these delays cause the price of a project to go up with inflation. Inflation, what's been going on? Inflation under, both parties, all that. It's not a partisan thing.
Right.
None of this, in my mind, is a partisan thing. It's just where we are. But as a contractor in this environment with what material costs, if you thought that you would be doing something in May that you don't actually get to start until October, you have some super serious built-in cost escalation right there. And any responsible contractor, or in my case, I owned an ad agency. I was kind of a contractor. I paid writers and TV studios and all that. You build in a certain contingency. It's like, okay, something could happen, something, the price could change a little bit. But it's very hard in this environment to say, in theory, we start, we put the shovel in the ground in May, when in fact you put the shovel in the ground maybe the next May. And at some point you have to say, all my bids are off. I can't do it.
Right.
I got to rebid this whole thing. And then the customer's like, okay, well then I'm going to reshop the whole thing.
Right.
And then, you're, and all that in the meantime, you might have a lot of costs. It's just a big mess. I mean, it's, no matter what you think about this, there's got to be a system that the participants can understand. It's like playing a game and changing the rules, or just not having any rules.
That's it. I think they have a responsibility to let us know what the ground rules are.
Right.
And if there's a precedent for decades of how the county issues permits,
Right.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden that dramatically changes, which is what all my friends in the construction industry have said about the planning department, then spell that out so we're not guessing and so that we can plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all. It's the same thing as the ferry system. You've agreed to have these routes at these times, and now you're not, and you're having delays and cancellations and things. That's spell that out and say, okay, this is our new policy. We're not going to serve this time, or we're gonna, you're just gonna have to make things up and take your chances.
Yeah.
So my response to that is, you should play a song.
Oh.
Because we could go on all day
Yes, we could.
about the politics. I think you put a good subject on the table, and it is probably something CNL2 should be looking into. But we have found that if we spend the last 15 minutes, go ahead, last 15 minutes
talking.
on music, people calm down. I calm down, you calm down.
That I do.
Yeah, because you get awful wound up.
I do. I really
You
do.
have to like throw a bucket of cold water on you just
Yeah. I'm like the squirrel from Over the Hedge.
to, right?
Give me some caffeine. I'll be.
You guys
bouncing
just
off
keep
the
talking.
walls.
I'm going to give background music. Keep talking.
Anyway, these last couple of weeks we have found that when we play live music or even tape it the day before and play it again, it's a nice way to end our show. We'll be on for another 10 or 15 minutes. Jimmy's brought his guitar. He's brought harmonicas. But we are really enjoying the live music in an area that loves music. We are in an island that loves music.
We have that in common, all of us here. That does bring people together. Totally.
It's all yours.
If I was a carpenter, you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? That's a little bit of Gordon Lightfoot. That's all I know of that. Let's see. I didn't know I was going to
You're doing
be
good.
called upon. Okay, so here it is.
You brought your guitar.
I brought my guitar. I did it. It's all my fault. Okay. A young cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon the ridge he rested while he went along his way. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry, Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-ho, ha! Ghost riders in the sky. Their brands were still on fire and their hoofs were made of steel. Their horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. And I lost the lyrics somehow. So
That was great,
Outstanding.
here all let's do
Speaking of lyrics,
yeah.
Terry recorded his 5th song yesterday. It's funny and it's a little blue. So
Really?
yeah, it's a good one. We're going to actually put the lyrics up in a kind of a subtitle thing
Good.
so you can follow along. But
Good. I'm doing a little
we
sample.
have no FCC here, so we really don't care.
Yeah, I'm not sure about copyrights. I owned a jukebox. I owned the jukebox in the American Legion for about 10 years. Thought my dad used to say, you got to find a way to make money while you sleep. And I thought, well, occasionally I might be sleeping when somebody's playing the jukebox like at 12,
Good
1
advice.
o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
Well, it didn't turn out, but anyway, so I'm doing a sampling of music. This is a
Yeah.
sampling. There's a man who leads a life of danger. To everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and they've taken away your name. Beware of pretty faces that you find. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Be careful what you say, you'll give yourself away. Odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and they've taken away your name. Taken away your name. Short version. Thank you very much.
You want to do?
I'm here every week.
Do one harmonica piece, maybe?
Sure.
Just like an audition, kind of.
Yeah, why not?
So we can kill that audio on the guitar. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You have good range. Is that safe there? Should we put that on?
No, it's actually quite
Okay.
safe.
All right.
Wow. Try a different harp. Okay, this is just standard blues. I call it a walking song, traveling song. A little sloppy. I'm a little rusty.
Wow.
Great. That's great.
That
That's
must
what-
take a lot of breath control.
It does, and
Wow.
it's kind of tough when you have this, right?
Yeah,
You
sorry
Oh, yeah,
stick
I
it
bet.
in-
Sorry
I'm,
about
u-
that.
I'm used. That's all right. That's all right. We'll
Next
we'll
time
get
we'll
a
have
microphone set
yeah,
up at some
yeah,
point.
next time we'll have you on a shotgun
and
mic. You
that-
can push that back a little
That's
bit.
okay. Good. That's called cross harp or blues harp right there. You play the harmonica completely differently when you're doing that. But if you're going to do straight harp and do a straight melody, this would be an example of a straight harp melody.
See, you have a Shakespearean actor over here thinking diaphragm. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
right.
I'm thinking like diaphragm, everything.
Oh.
Does it make noise when you like suck air through it, or only when you're
It's
like blowing
draw
air through
and
it?
blow. It's
It is
the only
both.
wind instrument of that kind, other than
Oh,
other than the concertina.
what is that?
A concertina is also called a squeeze box, Zydeco music. It's like
Okay, yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
accordion, but not quite.
Yeah.
You actually get different notes when you're drawing
Right.
than when you're pushing it. So unlike an accordion, which is you're just providing the air, and so
Well, thank
Wow.
you for validating my continued belief that music is the way to do this. To do this show,
it'll
I
bring
wanna,
people together.
I want to.
That
I
it
want
will.
to end every show like this. So that's an invitation to. Yesterday we. I don't know if you know Nate Finn, the new owner of the Waterworks Gallery, a Waterworks Gallery, and he's a rapper. He's
No.
apparently a pretty good rapper.
Wow.
I mean, I want range. I want Hammond B3 organ, harmonica, rap,
Yeah.
alpine accordion. I want everything in here. Singers. So you know a guy who covers Sinatra songs too, right?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
he good?
Before we go off the rap, I can do just a little bit of rap. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
I want to hear that.
Pastor talking to me, tried to tell me how to live. But I don't listen to him because my head is like a sieve. That's all I know. Sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Didn't
That's
see that coming. This Sinatra
Yeah,
guy. this-
Sinatra. Yeah. It was amazing. I was doing karaoke with my adult son years ago at Herb's, and sorry, that's gone. Amazing.
So is he.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I was 21 for like 3 months, and when I came back from college, I was planning to go to Herb's because I've been wanting to go there.
no,
And then
no,
Go-
no.
just before I get back from school or something like that, I get a text from my mother that the whole block's gone. I was like, no.
Yeah, right. That's not right.
So I'd never been in there.
No, that's just so wrong.
Oh,
That
And
is-
it's a good time to say while we're laughing that there was nothing funny about that at all. And
oh, of course. And nobody got hurt, right?
nobody got hurt, not like Fairhaven, which was an
Oh.
even bigger tragedy.
Yeah.
And the individual who, someone pled, I believe, on that case. I think there was some resolution to that. So we're not laughing about that. We're laughing
No,
about the
no.
fact that
Yes.
Matthew was denied.
Oh,
an
because I feel for
experience
you,
that
Matthew. I feel for you, man.
he's
That's
really
just
looking forward to.
that's wrong in so many ways.
I got to eat one Reuben from there that my mom brought back one day. She was like, "Oh, here's a Reuben. Where's it from? Herbs." That's the only thing. That's my only experience I've ever had with it.
Can we get a good Reuben here? Is anybody doing a Reuben? I love
Oh, I
Reubens.
bet Sweet Treat. I bet Dave up at Sweet Retreat. He's got to do a good
Okay,
Reuben.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
He might.
Yeah.
I'm from St. Louis, which is one of the biggest German-American communities in the whole. I've got a phone call, scam likely. Should we take it? A new low.
It's our only call. I mean,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we should have taken that. Sorry. But where was I?
Oh,
No, I'm from St. Louis
Yeah.
and love Reubens, but it's like barbecue. We're understanding that that we have a exciting barbecue place coming from a very credible
Oh.
chef,
wow.
and it's like, and they were describing it. He was describing it here on the show a couple weeks ago. It's like, well, I'll be the judge. I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
I mean, St. Louis barbecue. But anyway, there's a Reuben. I'm going to check it out, and I'll talk about it next week.
Cool.
Can't wait.
Now that has the bread that has rye bread, right?
Yeah.
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 And like Thousand Island or something like that, sauerkraut, and is it pastrami? I guess kind of a pastrami.
My taste buds could mature someday enough to where I could like rye, but not yet.
It's very. The whole thing is really hearty. They're. It's a big mess. It's a big sloppy, hearty,
It is
high calorie thing, but
delicious though.
Okay.
and it's one of those things. You got to have it like right off the griddle.
Oh yeah.
It's terrible the next day. It's terrible an hour later. So
Oh, okay.
we'll see. Anyway, little digression there.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the bar.
Yeah, and we did, and my son did a Sinatra tune. I thought, well, he didn't do very well. I could do better than him on that. You know, 'cause by that time he's in his 30s, and now we can compete. Now we
Right.
can compete about things.
Sure.
And so there's a little healthy competition. I mean, I went and tried it out, and then I just thought after a while, hey, I'm pretty good at this. And then my wife's brother has a friend down in Palm Desert who headlines the Indian Wells Casino, Frank DeSalvo, and he makes 6 figures a year and gets the summers off. They flew him to Roach Harbor several years ago for $1,500. No, for $3,000 for an hour and a half gig, and paid us all. And I thought, man,
Wow.
I could do this, but I just didn't have the fire in my belly to start going to casinos and trying to get jobs and things, and I just didn't want. My parents were nightclub entertainers, and I think that kind of ruined me on it. Yeah, it's just not the kind of lifestyle I think. I just didn't want it that bad, but I sure perfected my craft, and people thought I was lip syncing. I sure nailed it.
Could Frank make an appearance here for?
Oh yeah, oh sure. I'll have to wear a suit.
Okay.
It
Now?
just doesn't sound the same. Oh, right now I don't
No.
have a suit on.
No.
Well,
Okay. You transform with
Okay.
the suits on.
Let's see. What could I pull up? Oh gosh, I was so unprepared for any of this.
See, word will get around town that you don't want to make eye contact with me, because if you make eye contact, I'm going to ask you to sing or play. I'm going to ask you if there's any kind of musical.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York.
All right. All right. There's a sample.
Sample
We're going to get
music.
you in the
day.
right suit or tux.
Yeah.
You wear a suit or a tux?
I wear a suit,
To be in character.
although when I did the film festival several years ago, I decided to wear a tux because there were some Hollywood types there.
Now, we have found one strip of video of you performing here as Frank. Can we put that on our site? Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
You took that, right?
Yeah,
So
I had
you
somebody
own
take
it.
it. Yeah,
Well,
I
you-
own
but
it.
you own
oh,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
YouTube doesn't
I
own
also, if you look at YouTube, I also have a floating head trick with George Iliff, who's a well-known thespian, many plays.
I haven't seen that.
He wanted to be a floating head, so if you YouTube Jimmy Moe floating head trick, you'll see
Wow.
me handling his floating head like a basketball.
Okay.
and
I
I-
didn't think to. I
yeah.
didn't think to search that.
That's all right,
I searched
but
Jimmy Moe.
That's fun. That one's a gas. Okay, that's funny. That's comedy. The Sinatra stuff is serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy Moe, floating head. I'm going to look that up at 1 o'clock, and
wanna
it is
see
1
that.
o'clock. It is 1 o'clock.
It's a
So
trip.
we are done for the day and done for the week. And Jimmy, thanks so much. I hope you come back all the time.
Thank you.
I'd like to have you
I
back.
feel very welcome.
Yeah, good. And we will be working for you this weekend a little bit and have some new content that's going to be interesting from both the Democrats and the Republicans Monday, I think. So come back Monday. We'll talk a little bit of politics, and somehow we're going to find another musician for Monday.
Throw a rock in any direction
right.
on San Juan Island. You'll
Right.
hit a musician.
Right.
So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.